guys, welcome back to the Wall Street Bull. Anthony here. I hope you're all doing well and staying positive out there. It is never a dull and boring moment in crypto, finance, or the stock market. That is why I love doing daily market updates. Now today, there is a lot to go through, and of course we have a full-length video on Paul Atkins speaking in Wyoming, actually, which is fascinating. I mean, this is a pro-crypto SEC chairman. We're going to watch that full interview. And of course, we do have $2.9 billion flowing into Ethereum ETFs. I can't wait for XRP ETFs. It's going to be absolutely wild to see what happens with that. We have USDT or Tether appointing an ex-White House director as digital strategy advisor. SEC chairman again declares most crypto tokens aren't securities. This is Project Crypto. We're going to watch this interview with, of course, Paul Atkins. Tom Lee predicting Bitcoin's going to hit at least 15,000 US dollars. Again, he's building a massive stockpile of Ethereum. We've got Grant Cardone as well. He's building his Bitcoin reserves. A lot of companies in the United States are doing this right now. They're acquiring a significant amount of Bitcoin. Anyway, and also Kathy Wood's projecting some Bitcoin, prices right now to go skyrocketing. Also, I just wanted to say thank you very much to those of you that have joined EarnCurve, my spot crypto exchange. I sent a massive email out to a lot of you today. It is a full step-by-step guide on how to set up the bots on EarnCurve. Go do that, register an account, KYC, and I will apply a 10% discount to your trading fees. Just want to let everyone know that email went out. And of course, the big update coming with OctoBot and EarnCurve is the ability to trade all of these bots on one account, which is going to be amazing. So you can literally trade the crypto baskets, the grid bots, the DCA strategies, and of course your artificial intelligence bots. So that is coming very, very soon. All right. I saw it with my own eyes, the testing that's going on. The amount of development that's going into this is enormous. Like, it's taken the team at OctoBot 2 months to do this programming and developing. It's insane. So go register an account. It's really, really cool stuff. I can't wait for all of this to go live. Anyway, if you are new to the channel, make sure you smash the subscribe button down there and turn on that little bell notification, because as you can see right here, I love documenting my journey with investing, with cryptos, dividend stocks, growth stocks, talking about passive income, building financial freedom. And of course, my goal at the end of the day is to build generational wealth. So come along this insane journey that we're all on. Also, if you can give this video a thumbs up, watch it straight through, would really help me push this channel out to a lot more people, because the YouTube algorithm is absolute magic when you find ladies and gentlemen do that. So make sure you give it a thumbs up. Doesn't cost you anything. It's down there. Also, a little disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and due diligence with this stuff. I do not want to see anyone get financially hurt. That is why my number one golden rule is I only invest what I can afford to lose. And yeah, we don't like to lose. You can lose money like that in the blink of an eye in crypto and, of course, any other investment. So be careful out there. Do your own research. All right. Now, again, this one's going to be a bit of a different format today. Quickly running through this, we have, of course, that is Hester Peirce. And again, says basically saying that the agency is welcoming small and early stage crypto projects to meet in Chicago on September 15th, which is next month. Bitcoin options are bullish right now, which is huge. And traders are betting quite big on this, hitting, again, Bitcoin hitting 124,000 to 130,000. And we're going to be watching the full interview with Paul Atkins, because this is really fascinating stuff, and it's still mind-blowing to think that Gary Gensler's not here. It's like post-traumatic stress. Anyway, we do have a total market cap of 3.84 trillion. It is down, again, below that $4 trillion mark. I think we're going to go a lot higher once the spring cleaning is done, as Paul Atkins has said in this interview. I did watch the whole thing. Let's have a look at the cryptos today. Bitcoin's at 114,000. So it has had a pullback. We've got Ethereum at 4,200, $2.90 for XRP. Solana's 181. Dogecoin 21 cents. Cardano's at 86 cents. Chainlink $25. XLM 39 cents. Sui's at $3.50. Hedera's at 23 cents. I mean, once these ETFs get approved, the whole market's going to take off. It really is. But again, Paul Atkins, like he says in this interview, really is, cleaning up the mess left by Gary Gensler and the previous administration. And again, we all have to thank President Donald Trump for, again, sticking by his word. All right. So people need to realize that, in the last four and a half years, it was absolute disaster. And I just think in this coming cycle, things are going to be very different. All right. I don't think we're going to see these, every time there was a Bitcoin halving, a bull market and all that kind of stuff. I think it's very different now. It's becoming institutionalized. So I'm capturing it, of course, ladies and gents, with my Earn Curve bots, which are running for me at the moment and a lot of other people. So if you haven't gone to register, go do that. Anyway, I'm going to play this full interview and I'm going to have my coffee while I'm watching it with you, with Paul Atkins.
Period of time, but we'll see what we can do. I know he doesn't need an introduction, so welcome back, Mr. Chairman. This is your third act here at the SEC, and we were so thrilled to have you back, much more so than the third act of your predecessor. I think the first act from him was enough, but we are so delighted to have yours here.
Thanks.
And so it's a new day at the SEC, and you've been saying that, and I just want everybody to be able to hear from you about what that means to you.
Well, it is a new day, and especially for this industry, I've been in and around it for a while, obviously, and so I feel your pain, and just some of the stories I've heard about the banking and other sorts of things. The lawfare that was being waged over the last few years is even more than I imagined. And so I think obviously we've changed as far as our approach goes. We're no longer head in the sand, which has prevailed for a while. Hoping maybe that crypto would go away, and then after that came the regulation through enforcement, and so we saw how that went. So now it's different. Now we're about innovation. We want to embrace innovation, and historically the SEC
this is amazing.
Frankly, has not shunned innovation. It might not have been at the vanguard of being the cheerleader for it, but it didn't stop it. And so going all the way back to the 1960s, there was a big bull market there in the United States equities markets, and so there was so much trading, and they were dealing with paper certificates, which are pretty cool when you look at them, works of art. They're nice for the wall, but the trouble was that you had to process them, and there was not the data processing ability and capability at the time. So the New York Stock Exchange and other exchanges had to close down at least one way. So the SEC was there and worked with the industry, and that's how DTCC came about, where securities were then digitized, and so they were globalized, the globalized securities, and immobilized that way, and then traded digitally. So that was a huge innovation. And other things through the years, the automatic trading systems, ETFs, all of those things SEC enabled through a creative use of rulemaking, of course prompted by people approaching the SEC and saying, what if, can we do it? And I remember my old boss, Richard Breeden, in the early 90s, the staff had been trying to think about ETFs, and when he said, well, because he had dumped the whole big file on my desk, say, figure out why this has taken years to not even get out of the agency. And so the staff was saying, well, we're not sure if the market wants it. And so Richard had the best retort, well, how do you think you're going to find out? And that is like, let's try it and see what happens. So things like that is what we're doing now with Project Crypto, and working with our counterparts at other financial regulatory agencies through the President's Working Group. So we're still meeting every week. We came out with a report a few weeks ago, which I encourage you all to read. It's relatively thick, but anyway, but it's, I think there are a lot of great ideas, and we're setting out at the SEC to implement them as soon as we can.
Yeah, it is a new day, right? And you guys have already made so much progress, Commissioner Peirce with the task force. And, one thing I think people don't understand is how OG you are, and that, back, he really is. And so like in 2015, I started in this in 2015, and I think you were in even before me. So he is very OG in the crypto space. And the traditional finance space too, which is so important to have both the TradFi, expertise and knowing the history And, from you were a kid, going through computers and stuff, like first mover, always trying the first electronic products and everything this whole time. So I think it's, you can really see that in your leadership. And I don't know if everybody knows these things about, how,
Yeah.
how tech forward you've been throughout your entire life and career.
Well, I still have an analog watch, but anyway, but that's okay. But no, there are, there's a lot to be done. There's a lot of spring cleaning to do at the SEC, not just with forging new roads, with this industry, but on the traditional side, there's a lot of, like I said, spring cleaning to do. When we look at, say, the IPO markets, I've said before, I want to make IPOs great again. There's so much negativity around going to the public markets right now because of a lot of things, just the cost of it, the complexity of the regulatory scheme and disclosure, the litigation issues around corporate governance and the weaponization of some of that. So we need to clean up a lot of that and make it much more efficient. And so we'll be setting out to do that and bring people on to help us achieve that.
Yeah, and with the launch of Project Crypto, I think that's a really great initiative in moving forward and doing all of these things. And I think, I was very thrilled to be in the room when you announced it in that speech. And I think there was a standing ovation around the world about, bringing our markets on chain. And can you help everybody kind of understand a little bit more about Project Crypto? Because there's so many really important parts of it that you discussed about, is bringing it on chain and making the U.S. the crypto capital and, reshoring crypto offerings and how important just competition is, how important choice for market participants and even regulatory competition. So
yeah, there's a huge amount to do. And so the good thing is we have a president who has thrown down the gauntlet. I mean, he's not shrinking from this, and he understands the importance of it. He said it many times himself, even before he got into office here most recently. So, he wants to make
Clean
America
up every day,
same
time.
American technology and make America, the crypto capital of the world. So that's a pretty, that's a pretty good goal, I think, and a challenging one. So we at the SEC in our little patch, it's an important patch of it, need to be forward thinking. And again, with this President's Working Group and David Sachs and Bo Hines who are leading that, I think that's been in Treasury that has taken the pen to it. I think that's great. Has written down a whole, we've forged a whole bunch of to-dos from that. And so we'll be, attacking that, and already are. So as we go on, there are a lot of questions to be answered. And so I'm, salute the work of the folks in Congress who have, passed the Genius Act, which was great. Hallelujah. I mean, that really is a seminal step for the United States Congress and the government to now officially recognize at least one part. And so,
does freeze up here.
There's a second bill that's come out of the House of Representatives called the Clarity Act, and you heard from Chairman Scott here earlier. He's a great guy. He has a really great committee that he's working with, the banking committee, and so I look for good things to come out of that. There's some things that we need to do in this whole thing, but part of it is to bring clarity to this industry. You've needed it so badly. You've paid enough in legal fees and whatnot, not just to fend off the government, but to try to figure out, what the crazy quilt of different opinions, court opinions and statutes in the different jurisdictions. How do you kind of push forward in a legal business? And so that's one thing that we want to try to do. But what I really hope for is, I didn't come to Washington to engage in the turf battle. That's the last thing in the world I want to do. But we have to future-proof what is going on and what we're going to be doing the rules of the road, because 5-10 years from now, things will be completely different, I'm sure. And we can't like put things into like little, cement surrounded pockets that are immutable. So we have to have flexibility, I think. And so as far as the different areas, so securities, commodities, the banking area and whatnot, stable coins, the Genius Act, I think that took a really good stride there. And so for the rest of it, I've been talking about having a super app type of approach where why does one have to have a type of permission slip to go from being a broker dealer to dealing in commodities or whatnot. I think if we have, like if you look at the banking industry, where you would never really design the regulatory scheme for 150 years, but it works. It's very flexible. You have, the banking system, and you have different pockets of it, the Fed, the control of the currency, the FDIC, and all that, and the states. So, but if one regulator becomes too obstinate or something like that, you can take your charter and go somewhere else who might be allowing you to do what you might want to do. Like, for example, famously, life insurance with banks, the control of the currency back, maybe 40 years ago, allowed banks, national banks to go into that, and then others followed suit. And I'm not talking about going down to the least common denominator. I'm talking about having a system where there is, like, we keep people honest by having kind of friendly competition, friendly, balance of power, and without having, like, I like to compare to, the 1500s, the Pope divided the world between Spain and Portugal, the two big empires trying to struggle over a terror box back in the 80s. In the 90s, I'm thinking of single stock futures, portfolio margining. It wasn't that the two commissions didn't get along, at the board level, but it was even at the staff level where there was sniping and just prevarication there that didn't allow things to move forward. So anyway, so all I'm pleading for is, flexibility so that we can keep the regulatory scheme adaptable to changes in the marketplace and technology as we go forward.
Just in general, guys, that is just enough for me to see what's coming. And yeah, there's a lot of spring cleaning to be done, but that was really bullish. And if you've stuck around this long, guys, big things are coming in this space. People can't even see it. They're only worried about the short price fluctuations, but really the big scheme of things, this is going to be huge. So anyway, go register on Earn Curve, guys. I'll be back tomorrow, another video. I'm out of here. I'll speak to you soon. Peace out. Bye.